It's 11 p.m., you're lying in bed scrolling, and there he is again. Some guy in a clean apartment, laptop open, coffee in hand, telling you he made $12,000 last month just from his phone. He looks relaxed. He looks free. And for about 4 seconds, you actually believe your life could look like that too. Then the feeling shifts. That spark of hope turns into something heavier. A quiet little voice says, "Must be nice, or worse. Why does it work for him and not for me?" Here's the strange part. You're not lazy. You've probably tried something. Maybe you bought a course. Maybe you started a YouTube channel and posted 5 videos before giving up. Maybe you tried dropshipping or affiliate marketing or day trading crypto at 2 a.m. You did try, so why didn't it work? That question is the whole video. Because the real answer has almost nothing to do with the method you picked. It has everything to do with how your brain is wired to handle effort, reward, and uncertainty. And once you understand that, you'll never look at making money online the same way again. Let's start with the belief almost everyone carries into this, whether they say it out loud or not. Most people think making money online is a discovery problem. Like there's a secret formula hiding somewhere on the internet, and successful people simply found it before everyone else did. So the search begins. You watch a video about affiliate marketing, get excited. Watch another about dropshipping, get excited again. Then someone mentions stock trading, and suddenly that seems like the real answer. 3 months later, you're reading about NFTs. Notice what happened there. You didn't fail at any of those things. You never actually gave any of them enough time to fail or succeed. You just kept searching for a better secret. This isn't a character flaw. It's basic psychology. Your brain is a prediction machine that's constantly asking one question. Is this worth my energy right now? And when something promises a fast reward, your brain lights up with interest. But when that reward doesn't show up quickly, interest turns into doubt. And doubt turns into maybe this isn't the right method for me. So you jump to the next shiny idea, which feels like progress but is actually the opposite. It's avoidance dressed up as effort. Think of it like someone standing in a garden holding a bag of seeds, planting one seed, waiting 2 days, seeing no flower, digging it up, and planting a different seed somewhere else. Over and over. They're always planting. They're never harvesting. And from the outside, it looks like they're working hard. But nothing is actually growing, because nothing was ever given the time it needed to grow. That's what happens to almost everyone who tries to make money online. Not because the internet is a scam, and not because they lack intelligence. It's because they treat income like a lottery ticket instead of a skill. Now let's break down what's actually happening underneath the surface, because this is where it gets interesting. Imagine 2 people start a fitness journey on the exact same day. Person A goes to the gym, and after 2 weeks looks in the mirror and sees basically no difference. No visible muscle, no dramatic change. So they quit, telling themselves the gym isn't working for their body type. Person B goes through the exact same 2 weeks, sees the exact same lack of visible results, but keeps showing up anyway. Not because they're superhuman, just because they decided in advance that the first few months wouldn't be about looking different. They'd be about building the habit and learning the movements. 6 months later, Person B has a completely different body. Person A is still starting over again and again with a new diet, a new app, a new routine. This is exactly what happens with online income. There's a period at the very beginning of almost any online skill, whether that's building an audience, writing, editing video, coding, sales, marketing, whatever it is, where the effort you put in and the results you get back are wildly out of balance. You can work hard for weeks and see almost nothing. Researchers sometimes call this the valley of disappointment. It's the gap between starting something and actually getting good enough at it to be rewarded for it. Most people don't know this valley exists. So when they hit it, they assume it means they picked the wrong path. And they climb back out and go searching for a path with no valley at all. But that path doesn't exist. Every real skill has this valley. The people who succeed aren't the ones who skip it. They're the ones who know it's coming and walk through it anyway. There's a similar pattern with money itself, not just online income, that makes this even easier to see. Picture someone who wants to save for a house. They open a savings account, put money in for 1 month, check the balance, and feel almost nothing because the number barely moved. So they think, this is pointless, I'll never get there, and they stop contributing. Meanwhile, someone else keeps depositing the same small amount every single month without checking the balance every few days. 5 years later, one of them has a down payment. The other has a story about how saving just doesn't work for them. Nothing about the math was different. The only difference was how each person handled the boring, invisible middle part where the results hadn't shown up yet. Here's where the deeper psychological piece comes in. And it's honestly the most important idea in this entire video. Your brain evolved in an environment where quick decisions kept you alive. See danger, react immediately. Find food, eat it now, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. That wiring is incredible for survival, but it's terrible for building anything that takes months or years to pay off. Your brain wants proof today. Modern opportunities, especially online ones, often don't pay proof today. They pay proof eventually, once enough value has been built up. This creates a mismatch. The people making real money online, the ones running successful channels, businesses, freelance careers, online stores, they're not smarter than everyone else scrolling past their content. They simply managed to keep showing up during the part where their brain was screaming, "This isn't working, stop." They tolerated discomfort long enough for compounding to start doing its job. That word compounding usually gets used for money in a bank account. But compounding applies to skill and trust just as much as it applies to interest rates. Every video you make, every piece of content you publish, every client you serve well, every skill you sharpen, stacks quietly on top of the last one. Alone, each piece looks small, almost pointless. But stacked over a year or two, they form something that looks, from the outside, like overnight success. That's the part nobody shows in the "I made $12,000 last month" video. They don't show the 18 months before that, where they were talking to an audience of 9 people, getting almost no engagement, wondering if they were wasting their time. So here's the real insight underneath all of this. Making money online was never actually about finding a hidden method. It's about becoming someone valuable enough that other people willingly hand over money for what you offer, whether that's your skill, your knowledge, your product, or your attention-worthy content. And becoming valuable takes time because skill takes time, and trust takes time, and audiences take time. There is no version of this that skips that requirement. Every shortcut you've ever seen online is either survivorship bias, someone showing you the finish line without the race, or it's someone selling you the idea of a shortcut because that, itself, is their business model. Once you really absorb that, the whole game changes. You stop asking what's the secret, and you start asking what am I willing to get good at slowly, even when it's not paying off yet. There's actually a small piece of good news buried inside all of this. Because most people quit during the valley itself becomes a filter. It quietly removes almost everyone who isn't willing to keep going without proof. That means the people who do stay in, who keep showing up during the boring, unrewarding middle, face far less competition than it seems like from the outside. It's not that only a rare, gifted 1% are capable of making money online. It's that only about 1% are willing to stay past the point where it stops feeling exciting. That's a completely different problem to solve, and honestly, a much more solvable one. So what should you actually do with this? First, pick one direction and commit to it for at least 6 months before judging whether it's working. It's not because 6 months is a magic number, but because it's long enough to get past the low reward valley most people quit inside of. If you keep switching every few weeks, you're not failing at multiple things. You're just restarting the same beginning over and over. Second, track effort and skill growth, not just income. In the beginning, income is a lagging indicator. It shows up after the value does, not before. If you're only measuring success in dollars during month 1, you're going to quit before the dollars ever have a chance to arrive. Instead, ask yourself weekly, did I get slightly better at this than I was last week? That question keeps you moving in the direction that actually pays off later. Third, expect the valley. Literally expect it. Tell yourself in advance that there will be a stretch where nothing seems to be working, so that when it happens, you recognize it as the normal middle of the process instead of a signal to quit. Athletes call this trusting the process, but it's really just refusing to let a temporary lack of proof convince you the whole thing is broken. And finally, stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. The person in that late-night video with the coffee and the laptop is not showing you day 1. You're comparing your day 1 to their day 600. Of course it looks unfair. It is unfair, in the sense that you're not seeing the same timeline. So here's the real reason 99% of people never make money online. It's not that the opportunity isn't real. It's not that they weren't smart enough or didn't try hard enough in the moment. It's that their brain, doing exactly what brains are built to do, kept pulling them away from anything that didn't pay off immediately and toward anything new and promising instead. Over and over, in tiny decisions, that instinct quietly steered almost everyone away from the one thing that actually works: staying with something long enough for it to start paying you back. The internet didn't invent a faster way to build wealth. It just built a new stage for the same old rule that's always been true. Value takes time to create, and money is simply what shows up after that value exists. The 1% didn't find a shortcut around that rule. They're just the ones who stopped looking for one.